Well, hello. Welcome back to Music Monday with Johnny Tiger on February 22nd, 2021. So nowadays, learning a new song when you're learning a new instrument is definitely a lot easier. Now, this is going to sound like one of those speeches about how it was tough in the good old days, but it really was when music was concerned. And nowadays, if you need to learn a new song, you just need to know what's the name of the song you want to learn, and then you go on YouTube and you go on Google, and type it in the search box, and you will find versions of that song, uh, acoustic, electronic, rock, with various instruments, with vocal, without vocal. And if you plug into Google, most often you will even find the exact score written out for you for that particular song you want. And then after that, it's just a matter of practice, and it's easy to do it that way. Now, back when I was growing up, we're talking about back in the 90s, there was no such thing. So for me to have to learn a song back then, it was, well, first trying to figure out what song I wanted to learn, and then either have to convince my parents into getting me the CD or the cassette tape with that particular song on it, which was not very economical because sometimes, let's say I want to learn My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. Well, that's the only song I need. I don't need the whole album. I don't need the whole cassette tape. So I didn't really need all the other songs. I just needed that one, and pretty much only needed that one song once until I learned it, and then didn't need it anymore. So you can see, eventually, my parents didn't want to buy me cassettes or CDs for that purpose anymore because it was a waste of money and rather a tedious way of doing things. Now, another way would be to wait for it to come on the radio station and then somehow tape it, record it, so I have the version to practice with. But then, of course, we're stuck with only being able to do it in that one key, that one style, and there's no variation, there's no other materials to look for. Not easily in any case. I mean, if you had friends and mentors or a very good music teacher, then they can help you along with that. But for the most part, if you were learning it DIY style, you were learning it to do it yourself, it was hard. It was really hard. Luckily, I did find a way to learn some of the materials I wanted to learn, which again come back to this little children's style keyboard electric piano that we already talked about last week. You see, a lot of these little, especially beginner style electric keyboard, electric piano, they have a little wacky function programmed in. They have a menu of popular music, popular songs that are already programmed into them for you to learn on the keyboard. Now, for me, I very rarely use those to learn how to play a song on the keyboard or the piano because a lot of the time they were played in a way that I didn't like. But I did use these pre programmed menus, these pre programmed songs, to learn how to play a whole slew of songs on flute, recorder, clarinet, other instrument. So today, I'm going to give you guys a demonstration of what that's like, and it's going to be a little bit like returning to my humble roots, how to learn how to do this at home by myself. And yeah, I didn't have a lot of friends, at least where music was concerned, so I didn't really have anyone to practice with. So I had to practice using these pre-programmed songs on the electric keyboard. Now let's see what that's like. I'm pretty sure back then I didn't sound nearly as good as I do now. So it was probably a bit torturous for my parents. We'll start with the first song we have here. As you can tell, it's just like a really simple, really little songs like that back then in the old days. But hey, sometimes I could be doing this all afternoon and just keep myself entertained until I could play the song to my satisfaction. Now let's go to the next one and see what we got here. Uh, that got stuck somehow. Let's try that again. Okay, well that was actually pretty decent. Let's go to the next one and see what we have in store. Now let's do one more. Let's do one more. Let's see. There we go. This one, I know a lot of people like this song, so let's give it a try. that's it, folks. Little returning to childhood, little reminiscing of how I had to learn some of my earlier songs and the kind of practice session I have to go through. This is actually harder than it looks for those who never been through this, because when you play it on your own, when you play these songs on your own, you are setting the tempo. But when you have actually a backtrack going on like this, then all your mistakes become very glaringly uh, obvious. Like in the last song, Amazing Grace, when I hit a wrong note there, I have to quickly adjust it so I don't mess up my tempo. So it is a really good practice, and if you have not done so, for those of you who are trying to learn an instrument, it is a good idea to have a song in the background and play to it rather than just playing it on your own speed, on your own tempo all the time. It is like learning how to sing a song. You will get along much faster, much better, much more precise if you learn to sing with music rather than just sing a cappella all the time. Because when you're singing with music, then you get a sense of tempo, you get a sense of rhythm, and you definitely can hear when you go off key as comparing to whatever song you're following. As uh, Rather than doing a cappella when it's very free, very fluid, but sometimes when you are so used to doing a cappella, suddenly when someone gives you music to follow, you find yourself unable to follow it because suddenly the tempo is not yours, the rhythm is not yours, the key is not yours. Um, I remember uh, the first time I heard my mom sing to a song, like sing karaoke. I was surprised at how awful she sounded. Why was I surprised? Because I heard my mom sing quite often, just when she's driving or when she's in the shower or when she's doing things about the house, and she sounds fantastic. She's like really, really good sounding. Uh, so I always imagine my mom would sound like a superstar if you give her music to follow. But the first time I heard her sing with music, she was all over the place. She was unable to stay with the same key. She was unable to follow the tempo. She was going off in the wrong direction and doing her own thing while the music doing something else. It was horrendous, and this is one of those things why it's so important to practice with backtrack when you can, no matter if it's instrument or vocal. Thank you for checking out today's Music Monday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Tactical Tuesday. For now, have a good night.